Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel. You joined me in a quite snowy environment just outside of Detroit, Michigan, up near Nissan's Technical Center with the all-new 2025 Nissan Murano behind me. Now I'm going to format this video a little bit differently than I normally do here on the channel because I'm going to incorporate all my first driving impressions as well as a very quick walk-around tour of this vehicle as seen behind me here at the beginning. So we're going to do the quick walk-around tour, take it for a drive, give you my first raw driving impressions, and then towards the end of this video I will give you more of a quick summary and everything that I really enjoyed and maybe found to not so much enjoy over my about 2 hours behind the wheel of this vehicle. So make sure you guys buckle up. It might be a little bit on the longer side of things depending on how things work out, but hopefully you guys enjoy it nonetheless. I want to give a huge thanks to Nissan for inviting me out to drive not only the all-new Murano but also the Armada as well. So without further ado, let's not waste time. Take a look at this 2025 Nissan Murano Platinum behind me for just over $50,000. So the Murano Platinum in front of us is finished in the silver champagne exterior with the black and brown two-tone leather interior. Now I'm not going to do an in-depth walk around just because of conditions and I am running a little bit short on time, but this is a fully loaded Platinum which comes with tons of features and amenities, especially for right around that $50,000 price point that you may not expect in the two-row premium mainstream crossover such as this one. So starting at the front end, you do have the all-new styling and design language for this generation, which kind of differs from that of the last several generations. So you have the nice body color accent front fascia with the silver, the black trim that connects the two upper headlights together. They are going to be LED projectors, automatic high beam assist, everything like that with your LED daytime rain light signature down below as part of sort of the grille design language, front and rear and side parking sensors. You have the radar for some of the other driver assistance technologies behind that black plastic down there, and then the nice Nissan badging, white accent with the 360 around view monitor integrated into that as well. Coming around to the side profile, you don't have any of the black plastic cladding that I normally dislike on most new SUVs these days. It's all going to be body color, so I do appreciate that more premium look and nature of the Murano. Now this one being a Platinum does come with the 21-inch alloy wheels with a black and slightly machined finish. They are going to be wrapped in Bridgestone Alenzis Sport AS all-season tires, 255/50 21-inch, just in case you guys are curious. And again, this is a pretty common tire that you see used by a couple different manufacturers out there. Gloss black mirror caps, LED turn signal integration. As I mentioned, you do have the cameras on the side. Nice chrome belt line mixed with a little bit of gloss black. You have proximity entry on both of the two front door handles, and then backing up here, you can see there is the nice side profile. I really do like this angle of the Murano specifically. You have the panoramic power sunroof up top. And then coming out back, you do have the LED lighting as far as the taillights, turn signals, and reverse lights, all integrated up there in that assembly or down below in the rear fascia. All-wheel drive is standard on the mid trim as well as the top trim. There's going to be the button release for the power liftgate. You have the nice Nissan badging, integrated wiper. Now you can see the wiper path right there because it is a little bit dirty, and I have been driving this vehicle over the last couple hours. But yeah, that's basically a look at the exterior of the Murano. Let me know what you guys think of the styling and design language down in the comment section below. I like it, not my most favorite out there, but I think it is pretty attractive all around. And then taking a look on the interior, this one has the black and brown, as I mentioned, nice two-tone, very premium interior. Starting out here on the door panels, you're gonna find a ton of soft touch materials with the white or lighter accent stitching. You have this nice mirror type finish here on the door panels, accent RGB LED interior lighting. All four windows are gonna be fully automatic power folding mirrors, two-person memory driver seat with a little bit of gloss black, and then you do have the Bose premium audio system. Good amount of lower door storage. There's going to be the power driver seat with four-way power lumbar as well as the power lumbar massage. Pretty cool feature. I will test out that a little bit later in this video. There's going to be a look at the seats with the nice brown accent, kind of quilted leather uppers. Really like the two-tone effect and all the different interior options they have available. And then there is going to be a look at the dashboard. So touching on the interior of the Murano, like I said, this is a fully loaded Platinum, so it comes with a few additional features as far as the software and the infotainment with built-in navigation that maybe the base SV trim level does not come with. But anyways, in front of the driver, you're going to find a 12.3-inch fully digital cluster. Is controlled here on the steering wheel with a good amount of configurability and customization. Nice leather wrapped heated steering wheel, still have the accent stitching. It is a 2-spoke design here in the middle, so there's no spokes at the bottom. So a good place to rest your hand on those longer road trips. Audio multimedia, some of the adaptive cruise over here, and then you have a little bit of additional audio multimedia with some of the digital cluster controls also via these scroll wheels and things like that. Paddle shifters for the 9-speed automatic headlights, auto high beam assist, of course. Left of the steering wheel, you have some of the safety systems, including the lane keeping, lane centering, heads-up display, heated steering wheel buttons, electronic parking brake with automatic vehicle hold, and there's your power hatch. Does have a power tilt telescopic steering wheel, Bose premium audio system, heads-up display, just over 10-inch in color and nature. Very nice, high resolution, displays a lot of information. Coming over here to the multimedia screen, again, 12.3-inch in size, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Google built in, so it has the Google system, as well as the Android Auto if you want to use it like that. Sirius XM, AM, FM, USB, Bluetooth inputs also. We'll have additional maybe content in the future on this, but you can control a lot of the HVAC through here, down below, or through the Google built-in voice, which is very cool. There is going to be the Android Auto if you guys are curious about it, how it displays up here on the digital display. But sure, there's other videos out there on YouTube. Unfortunately, I can't go into this in a little bit more detail. Nice volume knob. You have a track seek as well as your hazard lights, AC vents, touch capacitive haptic feedback, HVAC controls. So it will give you an audible and physical vibration, I guess, if you will, to make sure that you are actually doing the command. Wireless phone charging, USB-C data ports down below. Here's the push gear shifting for the transmission. Drive mode select, 360 cameras, automatic engine stop start on off right here. Nice size 2 cup holders, additional storage space with the proximity key. It is a newly updated design, at least from what I've seen. Built-in remote start on the key, as well as, of course, on the app. Nice padded center armrest with a large amount of storage inside. That's one thing I immediately noticed. And then underneath the console, you do have open storage space also, if you want to use that for items. Up top, you have a lighter headliner, of course, soft touch. There's the vanity illumination, auto-dimming interior mirror with garage home link. There's the sunglasses holder, panoramic shade and sunroof, SOS emergency button. And there is going to be a look at the actual size of the panoramic roof. Pretty good in nature. It looks like a little bit of a smaller opening or retractable glass section up top, but really no big deal overall. So that is going to be a look at the front seat. Let's go ahead and take a look out back. So take a look at the second row of the Murano. Features do continue on back here, as well as all of the nice materials of the front seat. So still have the two-tone effect. You have the nice retractable shades here on this Platinum model. Of course, nice padded armrest with that upper section. And then second row space is going to be pretty good inside this vehicle also. So stepping inside, and behind my rough driving position that I've been driving for the last couple hours, I have plenty of space, 8+ inches of legroom, plenty of footroom down below. And then you do have AC vents, heated second row seats, more USB-C charging. Looks like 3-stage heated seats for anybody curious. Center armrest, 2 more cup holders, and a little bit of additional storage space back here. And again, I love this leather material. Very nice, high quality seats in this new generation. You have overhead LED lighting, grab handles on all 4 positions. But unfortunately, I don't think the seats actually do recline. They looks like they're just fixed in one spot, but I think they're at a pretty good angle. You do have the integrated headrest, so can't fold those down or anything. But overall, I think space inside the Murano is pretty good. It is almost 3 inches wider than that of the outgoing generation, and looks like I have just under 2 inches of headroom or so with the seats. But very, very comfortable. Wouldn't mind spending quite a bit of time back here, either in the first or second row. Opening the hatch is just as easy as that, or there is a motion activated kick sensor in the middle of the license plate down there. And behind the second row, you're gonna find a vast amount of cargo capacity. Actually quite impressive. I'm not sure exactly how this compares to the class, but I think it is near class leading, if not class leading. LED lighting on both the left and right hand side. Pull down releases for the left and right hand side of the split folding seats. Nice large storage cubbies, and beneath the hard type cargo floor you have some sound deadening and insulation. The subwoofer for the Bose premium audio system, as well as storage cubbies for the roadside toolkit, jack, temporary spare tire, and a little bit of additional storage space. So as a whole, very impressive space back here, and the interior is not something to scoff at. It's actually a very premium experience for near that $50,000 price point. So now you join me here inside of the 2025 Nissan Murano Platinum for my very first drive. I literally just set off from their technical center here, less than a mile away, and I wanted to provide you first with my initial raw driving impressions of the vehicle, and then we'll come back towards the end of this video and my driving loop and give you maybe a little bit more refined or specific items that I am noticing just about how the vehicle drives in general. My first impression about how the vehicle drives is they were right about the seats. These seats are very, very comfortable. Now here in the Platinum, they're heated, ventilated, and massaging, so we will have to activate the massage feature just to see how that works. They are a nice high quality leather two-tone material. There's 3 different interior colors depending on the exterior that you do choose for the vehicle, and I will say they are very comfortable. So that is a very nice first impression. Headrests actually don't provide me or cause me any issues in getting comfortable. Actually, the one thing that I'm noticing that is causing me a little bit of difficulty getting ideally comfortable is the amount of tilt on the steering column. So this is a power tilt telescopic steering column. Comes out plenty far, actually a great range of motion in this direction, but it doesn't go down far enough. I have it all the way down to its lowest setting, and it still feels like I'm having to reach upright to actually drive the vehicle, and it's not quite low enough for my ideal position. But power on tap from this new 2-liter turbo. Parking sensors activated there. We do have some heavy snowflakes, so that's probably what caused the parking sensor to activate there. But the 2-liter turbo feels pretty torquey. It has 241 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque through all 4 wheels, of course, in a 9-speed ZF transmission. I'll give you guys some more updated feedback as far as that goes a little bit later on this video, but torque, delivery, feels very good, very smooth. It does have the engine stop-start system, which is activated right now here, sitting at this red light. Wipers are here on the right side, which getting out of the vehicle that I drove up here is a little bit interesting to get used to, but that's not an uncommon thing. Nice dual 12.3-inch displays, pretty bright, pretty crisp, high resolution. I'll test out the stereo system, obviously, once I stop filming this clip for you guys, get a better understanding there. But no, the presentation was, very nice to get a better understanding about some of the elements that they did try to focus on here in the Murano, specifically this mimicked glass here up on the dashboard, which is actually several layers of film that reflects and refracts the light in certain directions or certain colors that does fade over there into the passenger side, just to give you that sense of premium inside of this vehicle. All the soft touch stitching, and really like the two-tone effect with the ambient color changing LED lighting. Ride quality with the frequency responsive dampers is also another highlight they mentioned, and I think I'm already experiencing some of the benefits of that type of damper setup, if you will, inside this vehicle, just because it's a very plush, smooth ride, even on either 20 or 21-inch alloy wheels. This one's equipped with the 21s, being the Platinum. And yeah, the engine power delivery, just tipping into the throttle a little bit. Oh yeah, I mean, it's got good amount of torque on tap. So even though the specs on paper might not be all that impressive, either in the segment or with some of the competitive set or other vehicles on the market that can be cross-shopped, I'm not having any complaints just cruising around here at 40-50 miles an hour. Now, one thing I'm curious about is to test out the stop-start system and see ultimately how smooth it is. Not bad. It's actually pretty smooth, all things considered. Responsiveness coming off the brake pedal is pretty good. So for a stop-start system, obviously, I know they're not ideal in most cases for most people's preferences, but really wasn't interfering with, my ability to get off the line in a timely fashion. So pretty good for the stop-start system. Now, another thing I wanted to touch on briefly is the visibility inside this vehicle. You do see the hood a little bit. The seat is almost to its lowest position, not quite. I had to raise it up to get a little bit more comfortable with the amount of steering wheel adjustment. But you have door-mounted mirrors with quarter window side glass, so forward visibility is really not an issue. The overall height of the windshield is maybe a little bit narrower than some of the other vehicles I've experienced, but it's not bad. Forward visibility is actually quite good. Taking a look at the side, we do have sizable B-pillars here, but I don't think with the blind spot detection and some of the other safety features that anybody would find it particularly bad in this segment of SUV. And then taking a look over our shoulder, we do have very small C-pillar windows back there, but really that's not going to enhance visibility all that much looking over your shoulder, just because the window is so high and relative to other cars on the road. And then taking a look out the back, I would say that might be one of the least favorable aspects or elements, at least upon my first impressions, is rearward visibility. This has a normal auto-dimming interior rearview mirror looking out the glass, so no digital mirror, unfortunately, inside the Murano. But the glass is a little bit on the narrower side. So you are looking past the second row seats with the headrests on the outside. Headrests don't interfere too much, but they do on the edges a little bit. And just the overall height or narrowness of that glass can be seen at the back. But visibility, really, I feel very comfortable behind the wheel, and I think the average buyer or shopper for this vehicle would feel the same way. So we'll go ahead and take a left. I believe this is the road on our route, or close enough to it anyways. Take a look at handling here. Pavement is just wet. That actually handled better than I thought that corner would be. Very flat cornering feel, not a ton of body lean. That was very good. Handled better than I thought, especially with the slightly slick or wet pavement outside. Accelerate. Oh, very good. Very responsive throttle. You did feel the turbo kick in though. Oh yeah, acceleration's pretty good. It's actually got a decent tone to it as well. It's typical four-cylinder buzziness that you'll find in pretty much every turbocharged four-cylinder on the road, but it's dialed back in terms of it's not so intrusive in the cabin that you're getting a lesser sense of quality because of that four-cylinder buzziness. It is there, it's noticeable, but it's not as bad as some other vehicles, specifically the one I drove up here on this trip, in terms of its sound intruding into the cabin. So Nissan certainly did their best probably to keep that somewhat muted or tamed underneath the hood in terms of isolation and some of that NVH entering the cabin. And speaking of NVH, they certainly did a number of things to help improve just how much or lack thereof is making its way into the cabin. I mean, this has been a very smooth ride. I mean, I'm sure these roads aren't terrible considering we are in Michigan at the end of the day. No major potholes or anything that I'm seeing, but there is, imperfections, and it's soaking up the bumps very, very well. I have to say, these seats are extremely comfortable. The more I'm spending time inside this vehicle, the more I'm feeling all of these items start to come together and, all the engineering that went behind this vehicle. In terms of physical controls inside the cabin, I don't love the HVAC. I don't totally dislike it. It is a haptic feedback, so when you touch it and actually do make a change, it will actually vibrate and give you that feedback in terms of your finger, which is nice. It's not solely touch capacitive with no feedback. You do have a nice prominent volume knob, which I do appreciate. Dual 12.3-inch screens is nice. Like I said, they're high resolution. It is decently far away from the driver, at least my seating position, but it's not terrible. It is within reach. I wish it kind of would maybe make a turn towards the driver just a little bit, because it almost seems like it's going straight or turning, you know, away from the seat. Now, one thing also I just noticed is crossing over the line here, the haptic feedback on the steering wheel is actually pretty robust and pretty strong. Certainly, as long as you have your hands on the wheel, will get your attention that you are going over the line, or, you know, other driver assistance features are, you know, being activated for whatever reason. Yeah, very flat handling around some of those curves. Granted, we are going just over 30 miles an hour, but that was, you know, 24 to 25%, you know, roll stiffness improvement over that of the previous generation. So if that was something that you didn't like with the previous generation Murano, granted, I don't have any experience with that vehicle, that is something that, you know, you should note as an improvement in this one that you should find substantially better. The road that we were just traveling on, or currently traveling on back there, did have a bunch of expansion joints just from frost heaving and things like that. And it actually gave me a good sense of how maybe the suspension and the frequency responsive dampers underneath this vehicle actually do, in certain types of conditions, at handling, you know, some of those imperfections. And I have to say, it actually was quite impressive. This vehicle is extremely smooth to drive as a whole, and actually handles these little sharper types of imperfections, or you know, higher response bumps, you know, with ease. I mean, it's quite impressive with 21-inch alloy wheels, a fairly small sidewall tire. It's still pretty sizable.
Mile, turn right onto Crystal
but
Street.
You know, it's just a very soothing experience, very plush, still very controlled, and still very responsive when you want to go around a corner. But it's just a very nice experience behind the wheel, and
take the second
one that I would totally love to live with. You know, given it's not loud on the inside, isolates road noise quite well. The seat massage, although only on the back portion of the seat for the lumbar, still offers, you know, an additional level of comfort. Throttle tip-in's pretty good with the 2-liter. I've noticed a couple just small hiccups here and there, either with the transmission or the engine at low speeds coming off, you know, stop, things like that. Those are things that you're going to experience probably in most vehicles, especially, you know, with a turbocharged engine, where it needs to build up just a little bit of boost to get you off the line and get you in that real meaty torque curve.
Take the next left onto East.
But yeah, I mean, just going over these, you know, imperfect roads, I'm enjoying it. I'm genuinely enjoying it much more than I thought going into it. Got a little bit of wheel slip there.
Continue on East Commerce Street.
Okay, so by accident, we find myself on a road that has not been plowed, it looks like. So it is snow covered. Now, this gives me a good opportunity to test out the all-wheel drive system inside this vehicle, and maybe how the system might want to handle, you know, obviously forward propulsion. So let's go ahead and just mash on the brakes. ABS kicking away here. We'll leave it in standard, and we'll just go ahead and do a full throttle. Whoa! Wow, that's torquey engine. Very good performance though, actually. It lets you get a little bit loose, a little bit sideways. I love it. I wonder if sport mode will let you do anything a little bit more adventurous as well. Wow. I am...
Turn right onto Kensington Road.
There's no way. This thing gets... Wow, the traction control and the stability control is actually not so invasive that it limits your, like, forward movement or the amount of wheel spin at the end of the day. Sure, it is, you know, grabbing brakes and things like that to help traction, but I'm actually surprised as to how well it does. And there's, of course, the brakes, which... a lot of that's tire limitation. Well, that was a good test, kind of inadvertent, but nonetheless, nice to see all different aspects of this vehicle especially being the winter time here in Michigan. Alrighty, so we are about done with the drive loop, and I wanted to give you guys kind of my final driving first impressions with the Murano. Now, obviously, I would like to get this vehicle back for a week to drive and really get a better in-depth understanding, but this was actually quite a bit of time. I really, give a shout out to Nissan for providing us with over 2 hours behind the wheel of each of the two vehicles that I will be reviewing today. If you guys haven't seen it already or are interested, I will be driving the new Armada as well, so make sure to check out that separate video on the channel. But anyways, the Murano drives absolutely very well. I'm very happy with most aspects of this vehicle. It's quiet on the inside. The ride quality is very good. The frequency responsive dampers certainly have some to do with that. And I think over pretty much all types of pavement, whether it's perfectly smooth or imperfect pavement with frost heaves, bumps, potholes, things like that, this vehicle does very well, and I think most people will find the ride extremely acceptable, if not above and beyond that, in nature. Power, putting your foot down into it a little bit. Transmission is pretty responsive. It takes just a minute to downshift. Sometimes it does have 9 gears at the end of the day, so it needs to pick which might be the appropriate gear to get into for your desired throttle position. But the 2-liter turbo, very peppy once it gets into its full boost, full torque curve, and you certainly start to feel it pull at 3,500 RPMs and above. It really starts to pull, and it will start to lose steam a little bit at the top end, but the transmission typically will shift, bring it back into its full torque, and I think the power delivery is very good. Sure, it might not be a naturally aspirated V6 that some might be used to or might want, but I think at the end of the day, we're all moving towards turbo 4-cylinders, hybrid powertrains, things like that, and I think this is more than acceptable. Now, it is a little bit disappointing that a hybrid is not offered, but that is something that Nissan's always considering and keeping an open mind depending on customer feedback. So a hybrid may be in this vehicle's future. We'll have to see on that. I'm sure the platform might be able to accommodate that, but I'm not exactly 100% sure on that. As far as the interior goes, I love the interior. Tons of soft touch materials, ambient lighting. We have the faux glass trim here up on the dashboard, which acts as a great handrest for using the 12.3-inch infotainment system. I think the screens are nice, bright, crisp, as I mentioned. I think the UI is pretty good. I think it's better than a lot of the other ones out there. I wouldn't say it's maybe the best or class leading in anything that it has to offer, but it does have Google integration, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which is already a bonus, and you can use, like I said, that built-in Google integration to control the navigation, the HVAC controls, the radio, things like that. So that is all well and good. We have all 4 windows automatic over here on the driver's side, heated steering wheel. The massaging seats are actually pretty good for the back. I used it for the majority of my drive, and I ended up turning it off after a little while just to get an idea of the actual seat comfort. But Nissan put a lot of time and energy into the seats, and I have to say they are very comfortable. I have no real complaints, even with my spinal fusion and typical headrest issues that I do have with other manufacturers. That is just not the case with these seats. I can get very comfortable. There's a great amount of padding, and the leather material on it is very high quality as well. And I like the color combinations that they offer at the end of the day, including a unique blue leather on Platinum. So if you're into some wild color combinations or just like two-tone interiors, the Murano is certainly going to be the one for you. Do have gloss black trim here on the center console. Not a fan of that. It's already smudging and showing some very light scratches. But you do have the push type gear selection, which is pretty easy to use. Larger buttons, decently responsive, wireless charging, which I did use for a period of time. Appeared to work okay. And visibility, as I mentioned, pretty darn good. Not the best out the back, but overall is what it is. The rear wiper actually has a very unique pattern because it is a pretty large wiper integrated up into the rear spoiler, but it only comes down and sweeps just past 90 degrees. So the amount that it clears off the window isn't the greatest, but it certainly allows for good outward visibility in snowy or wet conditions. So I think that's actually pretty good. You have the panoramic sunroof that does open and retract with the power shade. Manufacturers are skipping out on shades depending on some of the competitive vehicles of this segment, but also just in general, especially if they have the fixed glass roof. So I'm appreciating Nissan still including the power shade. But yeah, I think that is generally going to do it for my first impressions of this vehicle. Way more positive than I was actually expecting going into it. I don't actually have a lot of experience with Nissan product. You guys saw the new all new kicks just a couple months ago at the Mama Fall Rally that I did a quick driving impressions on. I actually had much less time than this vehicle today, and I wasn't too impressed with the kicks for a couple different reasons. But when it comes to Nissan as a brand, I don't have a lot of experience, and this certainly has been a very positive experience. I like the steering wheel design as a whole. Like I mentioned earlier on, one of the bigger complaints I have is the tilt range needs to go down just a little bit lower. I think to get in a lower seating position where you like the seat all the way down or near all the way down, the steering wheel just doesn't go down low enough to match your seating position. So you kind of have to adjust the seat accordingly to get semi-comfortable. So that is a little bit of a bummer. I think some of the touch points on the screen are a little bit small, specifically here at the bottom of the controls for the HVAC, heated seats, heated steering wheel, and some of the other setting notifications. I wish those were just a little bit larger of a touch point, but they are using a lot of the screen real estate for Android Auto, so I do kind of appreciate that. But make those touch points just a little bit larger. I think that would be helpful. And outside of that, heads-up display has been nice to use. The built-in navigation or Android Auto navigation does show your turn-by-turn directions up there, and you can also have it up here on the digital cluster if you do choose so. Yeah, I think that is gonna do it here for my quick driving impressions and driving review. I want to give a huge thanks to Nissan for inviting me out to spend some time behind the wheel of the Murano and of course the Armada as well. I would go check one out. I mean, honestly, if you guys are interested in a premium mainstream two-row mid-size SUV, I think the Murano is going to be up there. I think the only questionable thing I have in terms of my subjective opinion is the styling. Styling's cool, fits within the Murano nameplate heritage over the last, couple generations. But I will say it's a little bit different. It's rounded in certain parts, and I appreciate them for doing something a little bit different. And seeing a last generation Murano coming here towards us, that styling was very cool. It certainly has run its course, and this is refreshing to the brand, so I'm sure a lot of people out there would like it. I don't mind it. It's good, it's cool, it's different. I like the color combinations, the two-tone paint, etc. It's just not my favorite, but at the end of the day, that's different for everybody. So let me know what you guys think of the styling or the Murano in general. Is this on your shopping list? Is it a vehicle you are going to compare to some others in the segment? We have comparisons like the Crown Signia, the Chevy Blazer, the Honda Passport. Even the Hyundai Santa Fe can somewhat be lumped into this category of vehicle, although yes, the Santa Fe now comes standard with a third row seat and a couple different powertrain configurations. It is, at the end of the day, loosely competitive in this mid-size two-row space also. So let me know what you guys think of the Murano down in the comment section below. Hopefully I will get this vehicle for a week in the not-so-distant future so I can make a dedicated likes and dislikes. Of course, already have that list going here on my phone. So when I do get time with the vehicle, I can create that video for you guys. But as always, I appreciate continued support here on the channel and some of my first content here in the 2025 new year. Hopefully everybody is doing great here in the snowy, cold climate of Michigan. And as always, I hope to see you guys in the next one.